Sometimes in life, opposite things exist in you at the same time. And that's not confusion, it's being human. You can be gentle and still be angry. You can feel joy while guilt sits heavy in your chest. You can be terrified of something and still walk straight toward it. People think you have to choose one or the other. But that's not how it works. You can let someone go and still love them deeply. You can believe in something while being too exhausted to hope for it. You can know exactly where you're going and doubt every single step. Life doesn't make sense most of the time. It's absurd, painful, contradictory. And somehow it's still worth living. You don't have to pick a side. You don't have to be just one thing. You're allowed to hold all your contradictions at once. That's not being broken. That's being whole.
Tension is the essence of being human. Every marriage, every friendship, every relationship is built upon this quality of attention. If you fail to pay attention, if you can't pay attention, then the relationship suffers. If you're engaged upon a work, a project, creative work of any kind, you need to pay attention to it. So attention is really the essence. Reality is the place you place your attention. And the attention, we have to say this, we live also in a very self-centered, narcissistic culture, a consumer culture, which is focused upon personal desire and its gratification. So we have to realize that attention is ultimately other-centered. We develop attention because we place it not just on me, but on the other. And every artist knows this, that you pay attention to the work you're doing. Every person who's in love knows that that is what you do when you love someone, you place your attention in them. So this is important for the full development of the human being, that we learn that compassion and our capacity for love flows directly out of this quality of attention. And I think it's important to see that it is a gift, that in paying attention to another person, what are you giving them? You're not giving them money, you're giving them yourself.
The side effect they don't tell you about when you watch a lot of film is that you start to become overly romantic about the world. And I don't even mean romantic in the sense of relationships or partnerships, although it does raise the bar there too. Like for example, I'll be on a car ride, looking out the window, admiring the landscape, and suddenly a musical score from one of my favorite films will start playing in my head. And in that moment, I feel like I'm falling deeper in love with Earth itself. Or I'll be people watching at the airport and I'll see two people reconnecting after what looks like a long time apart. I can't hear what they're saying, but in my head I'm filling in the silence with dialogue from a dozen films I've seen, and suddenly it feels like I'm watching a scene unfold. Reality just becomes my favorite film. And sometimes it's smaller too, like I'll be walking home late at night under a street light and the glow makes me think of a Wong Kar-wai film, or the way the sun sets on a city skyline and suddenly it's like I'm living in a Linklater moment. Even something as simple as sipping coffee on a rainy morning, film has taught me to notice the poetry and things like that. It's like when you love film this much, that love just oozes over into reality. The world doesn't just look like the world anymore, it feels like cinema. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but yeah, film has made me more romantic about the world. I'm in love with what the screen has shared with me, but also it reminds me to touch grass, and these days that grass is just getting greener and softer.
You are not a body. You have a body. This is just a suit of clothes, a costume you're wearing right now to play this part, this role in this stage play that you're involved in. Everything is an illusion. Nothing is real. I've had people go through the death experiences, and after they've died and they're on the spirit side, they look back at the life and they'll say, it was just a play. I can see all the actors on stage getting ready to come out and play their parts. I can see the actors in the wings getting ready to come on. And they said, but when I was there, it was so hard and so difficult. But now that I'm on the other side, it was like a blink of an eye. We get caught up in the illusion. So you are the producer, director, and actor in your own play. You're also the script writer. But the script is being written as it goes along. You can change the script anytime you want. You're the writer. You're the actor. You don't like the way the scene is going? Change it.
One day, you'll realize you've already lived through some of the best days of your life, and you didn't even know it at the time. You were too busy chasing what's next, busy worrying about what's missing, thinking happiness was something you'd arrive at one day. Once, everything finally made sense. But while you were waiting, you were laughing with people who won't always be around. You were making memories in places you'll one day drive past and feel something you can't explain. You were standing in moments that didn't feel like the good old days until they were gone. That's the thing no one tells you. You rarely recognize happiness when you're standing in it. It feels too ordinary, too small to matter. Till it becomes a memory you'd give anything to experience again. But right now, you're still in it. You still have the people, the moments, the chances, the ordinary days you'll one day call some of your favorite. So stop waiting for life to start. You're already living it.
Well, I think life is precious because you can't watch it again. I mean, you can believe in an afterlife if that makes you feel better. Doesn't mean it's true. But once you realise you're not going to be around forever, I think that's what makes life so magical. One day you'll eat your last meal, smell your last flower, hug your friend for the very last time. You might not know it's the last time. So that's why you should do everything you love with passion, you know? Treasure the few years you've got, because that's all there is.
Las personas con alta vibración suelen tener dificultades en sus relaciones, no porque sean complicadas, sino porque son demasiado conscientes. Perciben emociones que otros aún no comprenden. Sienten la tensión en un lugar antes de que alguien hable. Detectan microexpresiones, intenciones ocultas y patrones repetidos casi al instante. Esto pasa porque han invertido años trabajando su mundo interior, aprendiendo a estar en soledad, sanando creencias de la infancia y desarrollando una sensibilidad que no es fragilidad, es profundidad. Marco Aurelio decía: el alma se tiñe con el color de sus pensamientos. Cuando alguien lleva tiempo limpiando su interior, comienza a ver lo que otros todavía no ven. Al escuchar a alguien, no solo oyen palabras, observan la máscara, la evasión y la defensa del ego en tiempo real. Y eso incomoda a muchos, no porque los juzguen, sino porque los ven. Por eso, a veces se aíslan. No por antisociales, sino porque las conversaciones superficiales empiezan a sentirse como una traición a sí mismos. Pero este camino tiene recompensa. Con el tiempo, atraen personas que no se sienten intimidadas por su claridad, sino seguras. Personas que vibran a su misma frecuencia. Y descubren que la soledad no era un castigo, era un filtro. Ahí es donde nacen las conexiones auténticas y verdaderamente transformadoras.
Everything is starting to make sense to me. Like, I think everything actually only happens to you when you are 100% you. Everything flows so easily. Every hard thing that you were meant to do is just easy when you're just yourself, and everything you do is an expression of yourself. You're not trying to do anything. You're not making content, you're telling a story. You're not speaking to a camera, you're speaking to yourself. You're not writing a song, you're just expressing how you feel. Why does it just make sense? None of this is with the goal of being heard, but it's with the goal of being myself and saying it. And then if someone wants to hear it, that's amazing, but the only reason that I'm actually doing this is because I love doing it. and that's me, that's all inside of me, that there's no one else involved in that process. I love doing it, and hopefully people love seeing it, but that's not the point. It didn't make sense to me for a long time, so I think now it finally makes sense that you just have to be 1000% you. With 2026, I'm gonna be 1000% me, and I really believe this is gonna be my year. With everything I have inside of me, I believe it. And you know what? I'm not even gonna try, because I'm just me. I'm just gonna be myself. I'm gonna do what I do.
I'm 42 and I still don't know what I want to do. But I knew about, well, I've known this year that I wanted to make changes in my life. It's still my dream to find my financial freedom. And I'm trying not to focus too much on how it's going to happen, because I just know somehow it is. I just feel like everything's going to work out. And I know that's my intuition speaking to me. It's telling me, it's all right, Jem, we're going to figure this out. It's just going to it's going to happen. If I keep pushing in the right direction, if I keep believing in myself, if I keep showing up, if I keep becoming the better version of me, this is going to flourish. I am going to flourish. And I've been doing a lot of content creation, and I've been really enjoying myself. I've been having a lot of fun. I like the topic that I'm talking about. I like sharing my journey. I like just being positive. It's actually bringing me a lot of joy. So what I want to say is, if you know you want change, if you know there's more out there for you, but you're just not sure what it is, start working on yourself, and I'm so sure it will happen for you.
I'm starting to realize that you don't just go insane from knowing too much. You go insane because other people don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I go online and I see these politicians talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything that came out of your mouth is BS. And then I see mass amounts of people that are just super passionate in supporting that person. I'm like, what? Or like, you go to school and your business professor has never even made a business, but is acting like he knows all this stuff. And I'm looking around like, this is so obviously a scam, and all the kids are just buying into it. Hey, let's go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt for this. Like, you can just see all the patterns, all the manipulation, the masks that people put on, and yet no one else around you seems to see the same thing.
I don't want this moment to end. 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 I don't want this moment to end.
Seems like you forgot again. So let me remind you. You've made it through things you thought would break you. You've stood alone in rooms where no one noticed your pain. You've smiled with a heavy heart, just to make others comfortable. You've survived days you didn't think you'd get through. Nights where your mind wouldn't stop racing. Moments where everything felt like too much. But here you are. You've been the strong one for so long. You've started believing that you don't need anyone. You forgot how far you've come. You forgot that it's okay to rest, that you don't have to carry it all. So, if no one's told you lately, I'm proud of you for holding on, for still trying, even when it's hard. You're not behind, you're not weak, you're human, and that's enough.
Eu ganhei uma paz enorme quando eu falei, eu não quero vencer na vida, eu quero viver. Essa ideia de vencer na vida é um inferno. Coloca meus irmãos como meus adversários, meus inimigos. Não aceito isso. Eu não quero ser melhor do que ninguém, velho. Se eu for melhor do que você em alguma coisa, você é melhor do que eu em outra. Não existe um ser melhor do que o outro. É aquilo que eu falei, existem atitudes melhores do que atitudes. Ideias melhores do que ideias, mas pessoas melhores do que pessoas, não. Não tem.
Hey man.
Hey man.
What's wrong?
We'll never be here again.
What do you mean? We can totally come back here.
No, I mean this moment, with the light shining perfectly through the trees. Pretty soon the sun will shift and leave us in darkness.
Oh, yeah.
and we'll never be in this moment again. It'll be gone forever.
There it goes.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe that's okay.
What do you mean?
We'll never be here again, so we have to be here now. The sun comes back every day, and we have a chance to go out and see the light again.
Oh, yeah.
¿Por qué esta canción produce nostalgia, alegría y tristeza al mismo tiempo? Dicen que la nostalgia no es un recuerdo, es una sensación, y esta canción, Aquatic Ambience, de Sisi, está hecha exactamente para eso, para que sientas que estás recordando algo, aunque no exista una memoria precisa detrás. Técnicamente, el tema está construido bajo los principios del ambient acuático que popularizó David Wise en Donkey Kong Country en 1994. Pads con ataque lento que generan sensación de distancia, filtros pasabajos progresivos que generan una especie de niebla sonora y una reverbación prolongada. El cerebro humano procesa la falta de resolución tonal como una señal de memoria, no de presente. El presente es nítido y definido, el pasado, en cambio, es ambiguo. Sisi trabaja exactamente sobre esa ambigüedad. Los sonidos filtrados y amortiguados, los que imitan el comportamiento del sonido bajo el agua, activan más el hipocampo, el mismo sistema que usamos para recuperar recuerdos viejos. Por eso, el tema emplea melodías no lineales que evitan resoluciones tonales fuertes. Esta pieza, viralizada en redes, es la prueba de que el arte puede manipular la percepción de nuestros propios recuerdos. ¿Qué te produce la canción cuando la escuchás?
Imagine 10 years from now. It's a spring Saturday morning in 2035. You're standing in the yard of the house you bought in 2034, humming a song from a 2033 album by your favorite band, who you found out about in 2032, waiting for the dog you got in 2031 to finish doing their business, wearing your comfiest pajama pants, a birthday gift you received in 2030 from a friend you met in 2029. You're planning to spend the afternoon gardening, a hobby you picked up in 2028. Later you might rewatch a movie you love, the one that won Best Picture in 2027. Inside, someone you met in 2026 is making pancakes. All because your world didn't end in 2025.
Carl Jung said that your 20s are just a performance. Your actual life begins at 40. See, Jung called the first decades of your life as preparation, when the individual builds an identity. They establish a place in the world, and they gather the experiences that will later serve as the foundations for deeper development. Through work, relationships, a person learns to shape their own persona, the social mass that allows to function in a collective life. Jung viewed this stage as essential for adaptation, since it teaches discipline, cooperation. Around the middle of your life, he observed a natural psychological shift. The outward tasks of life give way to more of an inward movement. This movement initiates the process he calls individuation, through which a person seeks integration rather than an expansion. The psyche begins to turn into the inner world, drawing attention to the parts of the self that had been ignored or repressed, undervalued during those times in your 20s. Jung considered this a vital step in your human development, the beginning of a new and more conscious phase of existence. Individuation involves acknowledging the shadow, the hidden or unaccepted elements of your character. These elements are not to be condemned or eliminated from yourself, but recognized as belonging to the whole. Jung believed that the acceptance of the shadow brought psychological balance and moral strength. During this stage, many people begin to reorder their own values. Their attention moves towards meaning, authenticity, authenticity and more of an inner life. Emotional responses become more measured. Your thought becomes more reflective. Jung suggested that this transformation allows the individual to live with a sense of coherence that was not possible in the earlier years of your 20s. In the later writings of his career, Jung described midlife as the threshold of a true life. He believed that the search for wholeness becomes the central work of your psyche, a task that cannot be imposed by society. The process to Jung is lifelong. It requires patience, attention, and honesty from yourself.